Hey guys, welcome back to Beaneater Buzz again. Jordan Hunt back here again with my friend Colleen McGuire.
Hi everyone.
We're going to be talking about projections for right field and center field for the Atlanta Braves this coming season, 2023. Right field, as you'll know, is probably going to be manned by Ronald Acuña the vast majority of the time, and center field,
God willing, because if it's not, then we've run into a problem.
Yeah, center field, we're going to be looking at Michael Harris out there the majority of the time.
Mm-hmm.
So let's start with Michael Harris. Because he's coming off a Rookie of the Year. Michael shocked everybody, I think. Even those who knew that this kid was going to be a really good prospect. Like, we kind of all still thought he was a year away.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anybody really thought that, oh, no, this kid's going to come up and win the Rookie of the Year this year.
Right. It was not so much that he was a year away. It especially wasn't he was going to come up and immediately make the impact that he made. I mean,
right.
All
the
of
conversation
that is just
was,
crazy.
Hey, we need to get this kid up here now so he can start learning. And then a lot of us were like, no, he's not ready. He's not even been to AAA yet. He's only got 25, 30 games at AA.
Right. Like the defense will be good there, but his bat's not going to be, ready.
Right. And that's what we all thought. That did not reflect what actually happened at all. Harris, in 2022, Harris hit 297, 339 on base percentage, 514 slugging percentage. He outperformed his expected WOBA by 33 points. So we do need to realize that there is probably going to be a bit of regression. He had a high ground ball rate, over 50%. Now, it seems like Harris has a knack for finding holes, though. That may have been fluky. We will definitely see. But
the thing with him is the walks, right? His walk percentage was 4.8 and his K percentage was 24.3. You know what I mean? The plate discipline is like the biggest thing. If he can work on that, even if he brings it up, 7% walk percentage this year or something, then just kind of work on it.
And his walk percentage in the minors was always around 6, 7, 8%, something like that. Which, do you want to see your superstar walking 10% of the time? Yeah, hell yeah, you do. But who doesn't walk 10% of the time? Austin Riley. Like, he walks 8% of the time. Like, and I don't see anybody complaining too much. So if he can bring that up, like you said, 7%, if he walks 7% of the time in 2023, I'll be very, very happy with that. Because it shows progression. That's a big step too. So, I mean, that's over 3%. So
because I guess I'm thinking it's not necessarily not walking, right? But he's striking out a lot too. So it's like if he can kind of reduce the strikeouts a little bit. Obviously, when he makes contact,
if he can, even if in 2023, if he can bring the K rate down, say 3%, right? 3% down on the K rate, bring the walk rate up 2%. Like, you've closed that gap by 5%.
That's a big difference. Yep.
That's a huge difference. And Michael is so fast that, like, he really is kind of one of those guys that, like, if he can lower that K rate, he's going to stay around a 300
get on base a little bit more.
Because he's going to get on base a lot just by using his legs. He's also going to hit a decent amount of homers. He hit, 19 homers last year?
Yeah, I'm just looking at this. It's like, oh my gosh. Like, it's insane how good he was last year.
136
in 114 games. Like, just looking at this.
F4. It's crazy. He's one of the best defensive
and obviously,
center
like you're
baseball
saying,
too.
Yes. I mean, yeah. And just like you're saying, obviously, like there's regression that you can expect with the bat. So obviously, I'm not expecting him to have 136 weighted runs created plus, but just like certain things that, like, if they stick,
Yeah.
But
And
So
I
good.
don't expect the power to slump. I expect maybe the power to pick up a little bit.
No, maybe the average. Yeah. Average might
Because
drop. I don't think he'll hit 297 again. I doubt that.
most guys don't hit a ton of homers in the minors, right? It's Ronald didn't do it. Ronald did not hit a lot of homers in the minors until his final season in the minors. And then I think he hit like 30 homers that year, 28, 29, 30, something like that. And then what it is as they climb through the system, they're seeing harder and harder velocity, right?
Right.
And once they learn how to hit that velocity, which, as they always say, like, you can time anything as long as you see it enough. So as they see it enough, that's when they start developing their power, because not only are they getting bigger, like, they don't have to provide as much of the power. And I think that's why Harris saw such a big jump going from the minors to the major leagues, because the velocity gap from AA to, MLB is
Right. Yeah.
insane.
That makes a lot of sense.
Like, it's huge. So I don't think that's going to slump. Clearly, his stolen bases are not going to slump. He's going to score a lot of runs.
You think 30-30 for him?
I think he's certainly a 30-30 threat. That's easy.
Definitely, yes.
I think, I think that's
There's
easy.
definitely a chance. If he did it, I'd be like, yeah. I would be surprised.
19 homers in 114 games. Like, you add on another 43 games to that. You don't think he could hit another 6 homers in there? I certainly think he could. I know he could steal another 5 bases.
20 bases. Yeah. Easily 25-25.
I know he could do that. Yeah. And do I think 30-30 is out of reach? Not at all.
No.
I think 40-40 is a little bit.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
World
that would
for Michael Harris.
Surprising.
He's not Ronald Acuña when it comes to power.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying he can't be in the future, but Ronald Acuña is a different animal. There's a reason he's talked about with the likes of like Ken Griffey Jr., Mike Trout, all those guys. Like,
yep.
Yeah, he's just one of the most talented players we've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Harris is gonna be pretty awesome. Zips has him 274, 324, 467. They've got him with a 342 WOBA. So they project him to regress a little bit, but they do project his walk rate to go up a little bit, about 1%, 5.7. So 119 weighted runs created plus, 4.8 F4, 22 homers, 93 RBIs, 24 stolen bases, 36 doubles. So, I mean, if he gives us that season right there and plays Gold Glove caliber defense in center field, anybody who complains is bonkers, because that is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll take that all day.
All day, every day. Yeah.
I do also
I'm looking
think
at all
he's
those
going to be a
numbers.
little bit better than that.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. I still think he's going to be a little bit better than that. I don't think
22. So it has him 2020 easily, which I think is 2020 seems like
it's got him. How many games does that have projected?
Zips 152, which is the most of the other of all the projections.
So that's pretty much a full season.
Mm-hmm.
I could definitely see it being like that because he is a center fielder.
Mm-hmm.
I could see him losing a couple games here and there. I also could see it saying, "Nah, dude, that's your job. Like, run out there.
You're still young, okay?
You're 21 years pretty old. Young. You're going to be all right. Like,
his birthday is in 2 days. Actually, he'll be 22 on the 7th.
2 days. He'll be 22 years old. Insane. He's got a Rookie of the Year. He easily could have been in the Gold Glove conversation in center field. So,
he will be this year for sure.
Yeah, in 114 games, he had 7 outs above average.
That's it makes
pretty
it
damn
look
good.
easy. That's
so easy.
That's the thing with players like him, where it's just
fun
like,
to
oh yeah,
watch,
there he
dude.
is. Like, of course he caught that.
Like there's
when he didn't make plays, it was where was he? Like, why didn't he make that play?
Right.
He's so good that you just
what the
expected
fuck,
him.
Michael? And that's why that play that Ronald gets so much shit for on the inside the park homer. Every time he gets shit for that, I'm like,
just expected. Harris is gonna get to that.
Be fair, like Harris misplayed that ball. Like he tried to go too hard. He didn't need to go that hard. He just needed to, field it off the wall. And he was running full sprint the other way. He wasn't going to get to that ball. And he just, now, to be fair, Ronald could have backed him up. Yes. But
to get all the slack for that to me is...
In what world is it Ronald Acuña's fault that he didn't back up a ball in left center field? Like, that's...
Yep.
This is the chances of that ball going back towards him are, like, extremely low. So, it's...
people just want to shit on him.
Yeah, and that's the point, though, is that was compounded by the fact that Harris didn't make a play. And we expect Harris to always make the play, and he just didn't. That shit happens. That series was rough for us.
Yeah, that was just an all around. A lot went wrong.
Hard to watch. There were some games that I turned off pretty early. So
and it's again going off topic, but when I think about this year, I just don't expect that to happen. I'm not saying we're gonna win the World Series, but like I would be shocked if a series went that poorly for them again.
Oh yeah, I would be too.
You know what I mean?
I would be absolutely shocked.
Yeah,
because it
was embarrassing.
It was kind of a perfect storm of shit. Right? Like you had Max with the flu. Max had given half the other guys the flu.
I was gonna say most of them probably had the flu. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you had Strider, who was basically he was literally throwing a rehab game in a postseason game, which was like bonkers that we even thought that was a good idea. But I was all about it at the time, and by the time the third inning came, I was like, "Oh, this is why we were concerned." I see. And then
now it all makes sense.
Charlie was actually looking pretty good in his game until he took a liner off the elbow again, and it was just like, "Here we go again." So. Shit happens, dude, and sometimes you're just on the wrong end of the shit.
Right
like that's just what it is. So, yeah, I think we all agree Harris is going to be better than those projections. And even if he's not,
and even if he is even if he
gives a shit, that's fucking awesome.
Still really damn good.
Yeah, really damn good.
So yeah,
I wish they would show projections for like defensive runs saved, outs above average, stuff like that. Because I feel like they'd be really good for Harris.
Yeah, over but I get
it's kind of hard to project like defensive plays. Like
how many balls would go to you?
Yeah, like you can't.
You can project at bats based on how that kind of stuff, but
right. Yeah, you can't really. It's hard to project all of the different factors that come into a defensive situation. So, do you have anything else on Harris?
No.
I didn't know if you had anything else.
No, I'm thinking if I did. No, I'm just excited to watch him play.
Yeah, he's gonna be fun. Oh, he hit a homer yesterday.
He did.
He did. Yeah,
he did hit a homer.
It was apparently pretty nice. Little tank.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was as pretty as the ones that Austin and Olsen have been hitting, but it's been fun to watch.
That Riley hit today. Again, it's March 5th, just for anyone listening, wondering when March things 5th, happen. That, dude, Riley got all of, the perfect, like when you see perfect contact, like it was just, didn't miss a stitch. Like it was beautiful. It
was that beautiful sound that you want a home run to sound like.
Like sometimes you'll get those when bat to ball where you feel nothing, probably because it just is like exactly what needs to happen. It was one of those moments.
Sometimes you'll get those homers that are like they're just really high,
right? Like how'd he hit that out? Kind of thing.
And
looks
just
like you got under it.
Out and you're like, what? That went out? Like how?
Which honestly, I will say for a lot of Matt Olson's homers, that's how I feel.
I was
the way he hits the ball.
A lot of Olson's homers go that way. Now the one he hit off DeGrom was a fucking tank. That thing, he smoked that ball. It was I watch that video all the time. It was one of the prettiest homers I've ever seen.
And then pimped it. The way he was like, it was the
best. Yeah, it's like our old first baseman could never pimp a homer like that. Never. He just stick that tongue out and get to running. Like that's it.
Oh boy.
But it was that homer Riley hit today was
beautiful.
Pretty. Yeah. So speaking of what happened today, Ronald Acuña, he had a couple hits.
Mighty
today.
Good in spring.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell he's feeling
pretty
good.
Damn good. He's not hit any homers or anything yet, but like every time he hits a ball, it's centered up, dude. It's
he's got
it's
few
barreled.
Doubles. Yeah, he's getting on base. He legged out an infield hit today. Granted, the throw was a little high, but he might have been safe anyway.
Yeah, but he would have been safe anyways.
His speed is there. Yeah, you can tell.
It was so deep over there.
He made a good catch. Yeah. Yep. And you always know when he smells that infield hit. He turns on the burners and he's like, this could be a hit. It's fun to watch. But he made a really good catch too. Yeah.
I'll never forget that infield hit he had against the Phillies a couple years ago on just like a routine ground ball to shortstop. And Didi Gregorius just like took his time for whatever reason. And Ronald beats it out. And it was like, holy shit. How did he do that? I'm so excited to get that Ronald Acuña back.
Yeah. He's just so fun to watch when he's healthy. It's like a full year of like Harris and Acuña and Olson, like all of them. I'm like, this freaking team. Like literally when Riley hit that home run today, I just started laughing because I was like, this team is so like I just started chuckling. I was like, oh my God, this team is so good. I was like
holy shit,
this is gonna be so fun to watch.
Yeah. And what's crazy is like we won 101 games last year. And you can quite easily point to areas where this team is going to be much better.
Yeah. Not that I expect them to win 101 games. It doesn't work like that.
No,
but I mean,
no, because when you have other teams that are, getting better as well.
And I think there was also with
steal a win or two
with the Mets, it sort of was motivation for them as well. Like we got to, be better than the Mets. We have to win this division, so that helped. But I think easily 95 games.
Yeah.
That to me is where I'm like, it's definitely got to be like around 95.
I saw that, that the Phillies, I think the Phillies are projected at 89 wins. And I feel like that's the easiest over that has ever existed. I feel like you can hammer the over on all three of those teams winning 90 plus games. Because they're not going to be beating up on each other the way that they have been in the past with, with a balanced schedule now. Like, we're going to be going out to Oakland. We're going to be facing all those
the Central teams.
Yeah, I was about to say Central, but Trevor Plouffe complains that people call it AL mid, but we're going to be playing all those teams.
Yeah.
So there's more wins to be had for all of those teams. Now, like you said, 101 wins seems a little
lofty.
I'm not saying they
can't happen. Absolutely. Like, if they won 101 games again, that wouldn't shock me at all, but I don't expect that.
But two of the guys that make this team so much better are having a full season of both of these guys healthy that make this team so much better are Michael Harris and Ronald Acuña Jr. Like, we know what Ronald Acuña can be when he is himself. And we've been without it for like 2.5 years. So it's going to be.
I mean, really, we haven't really had full season of what Ronald Acuña Jr. can do since 2019.
Yeah.
So. And
I mean, the flashes of it that we got in the first half of 2021.
Oh my God. He was running away with that MVP. I mean, I know that the way that it happened, things happened to get us to the World Series that, like, I think about it, like, if he didn't get hurt, I don't know that we win the World Series because that's just the way things work. I feel like it was sort of the, like, getting those guys that we got, the, like, run we went on, all of that was sort of, like, in spite of.
Right.
Like, I don't know. That's kind of how I feel about it. I'm not saying it just, everything kind of took off, but that's, again, not here nor there. But
to put into perspective how good Ronald Acuña was that year, though. In 2021, Ronald Acuña finished top 20 in F4 among position players in all of Major League Baseball. Nobody played less than 125 games except for one catcher. And Ronald Acuña played 82 games. And finished in the top 20. God,
it's so F1. Sad. I'm so sad that he literally played like half a season, 82 games.
Yeah, he was on pace,
and he had 4.3.
Yeah, he was on pace for almost a 9 F4 season.
Oh my gosh!
Seasons like that are so rare for anybody that the fact that we were witnessing it and then we got robbed of its completion, and that hurts us. Think about how Ronald feels about that. Like, and all the bullshit about people calling him overrated and all that shit. He's going to come back and just...
Right. Like, I'm just like, I want him to be able to do that again. And I hope that this is the year that he does it.
Yeah. And I mean, people talk about the revenge tour, right? Like, sure, like, we joke about that. Like, oh, the revenge tour is going to be... He is going to be on a fucking mission. Like,
and even when all is said and done in 2022, he didn't really have a bad 2022. He just didn't have what Ronald Acuña Jr. can do in 2022. You know what I mean? He had a decent season for what he did.
He was 14% above average. He stole 29 bases.
That's
29 bases. Now, 29 bases in 40 attempts. So, yeah, he got thrown out 11 times. But the majority of those 11 times that he got thrown out were in the second half. After his knee was just like, bro, like, you're putting a beating on me. Like, I need a fucking break.
And and I also wonder how much of it is like the being afraid to like go fully through, like, into, do you stop short a little bit because your knees, you're like, I don't have full confidence in my knee. Like, I don't know how much that affects any of that stuff. I would think if it did, maybe he wouldn't have been trying to steal bases, but he's Ronald Acuña Jr., so. He probably was like, I'm not going to let that stop me. But I think mentally there was a part of it, I think, too. Like, even when rounding third a lot, he was saying, I just keep going because it's easier for me to keep going than to try to stop after I round the base. So stuff like that.
Yeah, because then he would just get hurt again.
So if he's really, like, fully healthy and full confidence in what his knee's doing, I think it's going to make a huge difference in the outfield and on defense, stealing bases, running the bases, at the plate, all of it. So
Right. Now, you talked about last season and about how it really wasn't a bad season. You're right. 266, 351, 413, 335 WOBA with a 366 expected WOBA. So he underperformed his stats a lot. And then 114 weighted runs created plus, 2.2 F4, 15 homers, 50 RBIs, 29 stolen bases. Like, let's just wrap our minds around the fact that he was kind of close to a 2020 season in a season in which he played on one leg.
Yeah.
That's just...
Yeah. Yeah, and you look like 71 runs scored.
It seems
he was
impossible.
On base and he was scoring a lot. I mean,
I didn't write down.
Lest we forget that one where he was on first base and scored on that infield hit against the Pirates. Do you remember that?
No, I don't remember that.
He was on. It was a hit that Dansby had, and he just. It wasn't even 2 outs. He just like knew that the ball was going to land, and he scored from first base. So like he was.
Oh,
dude, you don't remember that game?
I don't remember that. But I do remember there was a bloop by Matt Olson that landed like shallow left field, and he scored from first on that.
I feel like I remember that too. So he's had a couple of them. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just insane.
It's so fun to watch him run once he.
There was also a sack fly that he scored on. It was actually Jazz Chisholm caught the ball.
Was that last year? Yeah, I guess it had to be.
Yeah, like 15, 20 feet behind the second base bag. But he was kind of running the other way when he caught it.
I think I remember that.
So, like, he had to have time to turn around and stop and plant and throw. Ronald just took off, tagged up, took off, and scored from third. Turned it into a sack fly for whoever it was. I can't remember who it was, but turned it into a sack fly.
He's helping his teammates out by giving them RBI.
And that's what an MVP is. That's what a superstar does. Like, we could probably talk about Ronald Acuña for hours, and it wouldn't be enough. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, he's only had like one healthy season or whatever like that. It's like, or no, people say, well, he's only played more than 130 games in 1 year or something like that. It's like, yeah, but his first year
wasn't his fault though.
Right. His first year, like, it wasn't his fault. He got called up. Like, yeah, he missed like 25 games because he hyperextended his knee at first base trying to leg out a single.
Dude, I don't know how the hell
he didn't blow out his knee then. It still blows my fucking mind.
Yeah, like that knee
was completely bent backwards, dude. Yeah, it was crazy.
My God.
And a month later, he was playing, and like people say this kid's like a wimp and all this stuff, and it's like, yo, like he plays really hard. That's why he gets hurt. Like that's
right. And as he gets older, he's not I don't think gonna play as hard as he did.
No, but I mean, look at Harper, dude.
Right. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Do you remember when Harper ran into the wall at Dodger Stadium, busted his chin open, like blood's just running down his face? Like Ronald Acuña is like a carbon copy of that.
Right. Yep.
So
going full speed all the time.
He's gonna ease up a little bit, but at the same time, like he's also a guy who's like passionate about the game and he loves playing. So like you don't want to take that away from him either. But
yeah,
it's just gonna be so fun to watch him this year. I had projections right there. Oh, there they are. 2023, they project him 274, 371, 504, 377 WOBA, which is back up there where his career average is pretty much.
Yeah.
143 weighted runs created plus 5 F4, 29 homers, 79 RBIs, 28 stolen bases, and 25 doubles. And they project that in 129 games. So
he's projecting
that. 40. Yeah. If they're projecting that in 129 games, like he definitely has a shot at 40-40. And I would also say that I think that's a bit conservative on the F4. Now, would I be super stoked with a 5 F4 from Ronald?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, I would.
Right. But, I mean, like 2019, he had 5.4. So 5 seems like totally reasonable.
But if what we're seeing right now in spring training and what we're probably going to see in the World Baseball Classic, if that's the Ronald Acuña that we're going to get for the 2023 season, like that guy's going to be worth way more than 5.0 F4.
It's crazy how many potential 5+ Fangraphs were players on this team.
I mean, Olsen's like
Riley,
projected for like
Harris,
4.6.
Acuña, even Murphy.
Yep, Murphy, Max Fried.
Our pitchers, So I mean, that's
Max Fried, Spencer Strider.
That's like we don't need left field to be good, okay?
Yeah.
Like,
but we're not going to dive into left field, but like we'll do that on the next show. But left field, we have some really good options.
We
for
might
left field.
actually be okay in left field.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, it's almost impossible for them not to be better in left field this season than they were last year. It's almost impossible because they were so bad in left field last year. It was hysterically bad, and we still won 101 baseball games. It's just we're really spoiled right now, and I think the reason that we laugh and we joke about how good the Braves are and stuff is because we sat through that rebuild and it was rough. And yeah, maybe we're a little bit spoiled with winning in Atlanta because a 4-year rebuild isn't really that long. But for what we grew up on, that is a long time.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they were tough. It was, yeah, it's funny. I'm like, okay, so really 15, 16, 17 to me are the years what I think of like, oh, we were god awful. 14, we were kind of
14, we were kind of in it for a while.
Yeah.
And then like second half, we just fucking tanked.
So it's kind of like 3.5 of like, yeah. So, but those couple, you know, it's like the light at the end of the tunnel. I mean, when Julio Teheran's your ace, Shelby Miller was like the highlight of that team in 2015.
Shelby Miller, dude.
It's crazy when you look at those lineups and you're like, holy shit.
We basically turned Jason Hayward into Dansby Swanson. Well, I guess Aaron Blair, if you want to talk about that. But Dansby Swanson and Ender Inciarte. Ender had a good few years here. So, like, I don't know, man. It just, those years were rough. And for us to have what we have now in Michael Harris and Ronald Acuña and Matt Olson and Ozzie Albies and Austin Riley and potentially Vaughn Grissom. And then we've got Sean Murphy, Strider, Fried, Wright.
I mean,
more. It's just the bullpen. You don't even want to talk about the bullpen. It's the best bullpen in baseball.
Right, like so much good homegrown talent, a young core locked up.
It's special,
like
man.
Some of the talent that we used to get players like Murphy and Olson, guys we've picked up elsewhere. Like this team is so good and going to be so good for the next several years.
For so long, it just feels.
There's a reason people hate us.
There's a reason people hate us.
The reason there's the joke about like, well, you'll just like pull some random guy from AAA and he'll come up and just perform because that's the way it goes. You know,
that's
it's
what we
like
do.
Harrison Strider come up and just light the world on fire.
They're gonna have to stop saying. They're gonna have to stop saying that we'll just pull some random guy from AAA because we're doing it in AA now, and it's just working over and over and over again. We got Strider, Wright, or not Strider, not Wright. Strider, Harris, and Grissom all combined played like 3 games in AAA. And all of them were played by Spencer Strider. Like
crazy.
So it's just wild. So yeah, I mean, like I said, we could sit here and talk about Acuña all day. I think he's gonna run at the MVP. Is he gonna win it? I don't know. But if we see what we saw from him in 2021, it's going to be hard for anybody else to be on his level.
I mean, we have legit 5 or 6 MVP contenders. That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
I was looking
we
today
might have.
Good.
Oh, I was going to say we might have 5 guys finish in the top 20.
Yeah. And then I'm thinking about the Cy Young because I was looking at that today in terms of the odds. And like Strider is ahead of Fried. Actually.
Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah.
I'm like, okay. Yep. So I was like, who do I want to put money on for what and how much?
Both of those.
Because I was like, I'm going to put money on Olson the way he's going. Got to put money on.
Oh hell yeah, dude!
I think I'm going to put money on Fried and Strider and see what happens.
Yeah, I think Olson. We're looking at like a Silver Slugger type year.
Yeah, like and again, he doesn't have to win the MVP to have.
He doesn't have to win the MVP to be
like
epic player.
Yeah.
Guess who didn't win an MVP last year? Freddie Freeman. He might have had an argument, a pretty good argument too. He was like 7.4 FWAR, and he just best season of his career. And I'm not upset that Freddie's gone. That's crazy that we're able to do that at this point in time. So,
yep.
All right. Well, sorry to go off on some tangents there, guys. We're just very grateful.
That's just what we do
for what we have, and we go off on tangents a lot here. It's fun. If we're gonna, we
just like talking baseball,
we might as well just keep doing it. It's fun. So yeah, Michael Harris, Ronald Acuña Jr. Gonna be a special year for the Atlanta Braves. So, all right, guys. Well, we appreciate you guys coming out again, watching Beaneater Buzz, and we'll see you guys soon.
Take care, everyone. Go Braves.